Zhang Yi unleashed a ruthless barrage that scattered his opponents before lowering his sniper rifle and confronting the 5 stunned coalition leaders. He imposed 2 stark conditions, and despite trembling, Wang Chang, Wang Tianfang, Zhang Yunian, Chen Lingyu, and Li Jian each raised a hand in reluctant agreement to work, gather supplies the next day, and obey his watchful eye. After dismissing them with a curt warning, Wang and Huang lingered, eyes fixed on the half-pack of cigarettes he held. When Zhang tossed the pack to the floor, the 2 men lunged, wrestled over the meager loot, tore it apart, and snatched a few cigarettes before storming away, their rivalry momentarily eclipsing the larger threat. With the coalition leaders subdued, Zhang Yi turned to the residents of Building 25, declaring that the opposing forces had yielded under his military intimidation. He demanded that the community now provide food for 300 people and commit every able hand to labor, promising to develop underground agriculture using corn, potato, and wheat seeds to ensure long-term sustainability. He warned that without this pact the entire complex would face a massive assault, but reassured them that his firepower alone could protect the building, vowing never to let anyone starve. The crowd, stunned by the scale of the demand, broke into tears, praising Zhang Yi for shouldering the burden. Zhang Lei and others shouted their loyalty, insisting they would never betray his kindness. Their voices rose in unison, declaring that his generosity could never be repaid in a lifetime, and they pledged to follow every decision he makes, cementing his role as the unquestioned leader of Building 25. Zhang Yi dismissed the lingering tears of the neighbors he had just moved, leaving only Uncle Yu to linger in the doorway. The older man stared at him with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity, prompting Zhang Yi to deflect with a light-hearted comment before turning the conversation to the true purpose of his recent agreement with the 5 building managers. He admitted that the pact to provide food for 300 people was merely a facade, a calculated compromise that bought him time while he plotted a more lethal strategy. His original intention, he confessed, had been to summon all the building managers and slaughter them, thereby plunging the 29 other structures into chaos and allowing him to pick them off one by one. The arrival of only the 5 most powerful managers forced him to suppress his murderous impulse and adopt a veneer of weakness, hoping the others would underestimate his resolve. Uncle Yu listened intently as Zhang Yi outlined the core of his trap, a deliberately scarce distribution of supplies, limited to 10 portions per building. He warned that once the managers reclaimed the food and withheld it from the masses, the residents would turn on each other in a desperate scramble for survival. The resulting infighting, he argued, would be far more brutal than any external assault, driving people to such despair that they would no longer fear death and would even try to take their oppressors down with them. To reinforce his plan, Zhang Yi mentioned 2 massive pits he had already excavated, ready to become the graves of those who would resist his hidden agenda. Uncle Yu, both horrified and fascinated, praised Zhang Yi's cunning, recognizing the cold logic behind offering hope only to snatch it away. Finally, Zhang Yi reflected on his own composure, attributing his confidence to ample food, warm clothing, and the firepower of his fortified strongholds. He dismissed any notion of genius, insisting that his calmness and material security gave him an edge over the frantic, starving masses. With a sardonic grin, he compared his situation to a world-class boxer starved for 30 days, concluding that even a dead man could not defeat him. Uncle Yu, still processing the chilling revelation, could only acknowledge the terrifying brilliance of Zhang Yi's scheme as the distant sounds of the 5 managers' departure faded into the cold wind outside. Zhang Yi sat across from Uncle Yu, calmly outlining the cold logic behind his latest maneuver. He told his elder confidant that the forced agricultural labor imposed on the neighboring buildings was not a charitable act but a calculated ploy to wear down their armies, forcing them to expend precious physical strength on futile crops in the bitter cold. By feeding only 10 portions per external building, he ensured scarcity, knowing that the majority of the populace would cling to immediate sustenance while the smarter few, such as Li Jian and Chen Lingyu, could see through the ruse but lacked the influence to rally resistance. Zhang Yi emphasized that the fools would continue to follow his benefits, allowing him to erode their fighting capacity without direct bloodshed, and he hinted that future raids would target even more of the rival managers to finish the job. After the strategic discussion, Zhang Yi returned to his residence, his eyes flicking to the security feed that showed Zhou Kor confined in her modest room. He had already seized her phone and imposed a strict lockdown, trusting only her disciplined self-regulation. When he entered, Zhou Kor greeted him with a bright smile, her yoga routine paused as she wrapped her arms around his neck. Their brief intimacy masked the tension of the looming conflict. Zhang Yi whispered that the next few days would be chaotic but assured her she must stay home and avoid danger. He hinted that the trouble would soon be eradicated, leaving Zhou Kor uneasy about the vague threat. Meanwhile, Uncle Yu, still processing the weight of Zhang Yi's revelations, pledged absolute secrecy, recognizing that the survival of their community now rested on the leader's ruthless plans. The chapter closed on a note of uneasy anticipation, with Zhang Yi's eyes narrowed, his mind already plotting the next lethal strike against the rival building managers while keeping a wary eye on the hidden mole that still lingered within their own walls.